Hey people, this episode of WTF is sponsored by Stamps.com. Go to Stamps.com and type in WTF when you click the radio microphone to start a no-risk trial and get a bonus offer worth $110. That's Stamps.com. Enter WTF. Do it.
Lock the gate!
All right, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers, what the fuck buddies, what the fucking ears, what the fuckleberry fins, what the fuck nuts? Popular cartoon when I was a kid, the what the fuck nuts. Hello. I am Marc Maron. This is WTF. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening to the show. We have Moon Zappa on the show. Moon Zappa, the dreamy Moon Zappa. I've known Moon for a long time, and I think the first time I met Moon was probably in the late 80s, and I had a real crush on her. I believe back in the day I may have been in love with Moon Zappa. Pow! Wow, just shit my pants, just Coffee Duck Co-op. Is that a nice way to follow a nostalgic, melancholic reflection on a guest? Moon Zappa's here, and we are old friends, and it was a fun talk, and she filled in some gaps on Captain Beefheart that only she could fill in. And those of you who've watched my special Thinky Pain or listen to this show know I have a mild obsession with Captain Beefheart. And me and Moon chatted about it. She grew up around it. She grew up in the halls of genius of her father, and she's quite a thinky person in her own right. Also, I wanted to say that Thinky Pain, the special on Netflix, will be available, I believe, today in non-English speaking countries that have Netflix. How's that? I'm trying to keep it above ground, above water, high roading it still, and lonely and a bit sad. But I have been cleaning out my house. I'm just throwing shit away. I'm trying to honor the idea that if you haven't used it or looked at it in over a year, you probably don't need it. How much more time do I have, people? I threw away a shitload of linens. I mean, the closet where my linens were, it seemed like a history of failed relationships and fabric. I had linens going back to probably the first wife. Ridiculous. Duvet covers, the whole business. What's sad about it is everything, and what's interesting about it is just how much we do as a reaction to somebody else. Good things, bad things, passive things. The presence of somebody drives us, compels us one way or the other. I don't know how many more of these I have in me, really. And I'm certainly terrified and nervous emotionally. And I'm going to try to sit in it. As my friend Dragon says, don't waste the pain. But I'm doing okay. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Oh, let me do this. We have a special guest today. I called Daniel Nazer from the Electronic Frontier Foundation because I wanted to get you all up to speed on the patent troll podcast patent because you all contributed to that. And this is a real story, really unfolding, and it's very exciting. Cultural momentum has sort of stacked up against these fuckers, these patent trolls, and, the personal audio patent troll, which was fucking with me and Jesse Thorne and Sam Cedar and Jay Moore and Red Band and Scott Aukerman and a number of others. Something is happening, and it all happened because of your help. I'll share that with you in just a minute. We're going to call Daniel Nazer. But I do want to say this, folks. It's Stamps.com time, and if you're wondering why I use Stamps.com, here's the best reason: it saves money. And let's face it, expenses can really add up when you're running a small business. It's important to save money wherever you can while keeping your business running smoothly. And Stamps.com makes it easy to do both, my friends. With Stamps.com, get official U.S. postage for any letter or package using your own computer and printer. No need for expensive postage meters, no hidden fees or long-term meter commitments. You save up to 80% compared to a meter, folks. Plus, you'll never have to go to the post office again. In fact, Stamps.com offers special postage discounts you can't even get at a post office. Right now, use my promo code WTF for this special offer. Start a no-risk trial with a $110 bonus offer that includes a digital scale and up to $55 of free postage. Don't wait, my friends. Go to Stamps.com now. Before you do anything else, click on the microphone at the top of the home page and type in WTF. That's Stamps.com. Enter WTF. All right, look, let's talk about this patent troll thing. As you know, we all had a patent troll issue, and it was frightening because they were trying to shake down podcasters. That was Personal Audio was the name of that. So, I had made enough noise along with some other podcasters, and, the EFF was on board, and they decided to take it upon themselves to file a re-exam. And they finally filed it, and it's a fairly exciting thing. And the reason I'm talking about it is because I hate anybody that seeks to, extort money, take advantage of the little guy, stifle growth and exciting creativity, with this garbage business, this garbage predatory business of buying up old patents or trying to introduce old patents and retrofit them onto existing technologies and shaking down the little guy. But look, let me get Daniel Nazer from the EFF on the phone. This is very exciting because, it could dismantle this patent. It doesn't make us safe. It doesn't mean that there's legislation in place that'll protect people. It doesn't mean a lot of things. But the momentum is against these fuckers. So let's call Daniel Nazer now.
Hello?
Hey, Daniel. Daniel Nazer, Marc Maron.
Hi, Mark.
How are you, sir? You all right?
Yeah.
All right. Look, I'm thrilled about what's happened here with this patent thing. And I also I wanted to talk to you because, so many of my listeners and so many podcast fans and podcasters had sort of rallied support to make this thing happen. And I guess I kind of want to, explain to them exactly what happened. We reached out and we asked our listeners to support the EFF to help make this podcasting patent go away. But it hasn't gone away, but something great has happened, correct?
Yeah. So we filed a petition to challenge the patent at the patent office.
Yeah.
And we did that this week.
Okay, so you filed a petition. Now let me go through the steps here. Now, this is just one means of defense against a patent troll. A petition means that there's a patent, we think it stinks, and the reason it stinks is because this technology has been around. It's an abuse of the system in one sense, but it's just basically saying that you can't claim a patent on something that pre-existed. Now, how do you go about showing that?
Yeah, so that's right. This is what's called a petition for inter partes review, and it's filed at the patent office. And it's not really about, whether Personal Audio or bad guys or a patent troll. This is a really kind of specific technical thing where we're presenting some evidence of websites and technology that existed before this patent was filed that we say do what they're claiming that they have a right to.
Now,
so,
and they basically claimed that their patent covers podcasting because of what specifically?
So they have a patent. It's particular claims on the patent that they claim cover what it's pretty technical, what they call a compilation file. So basically, it turns out to be anything on the web where it's hosted at a unique URL and updated with regular episodic media content. So that's sort of it in a nutshell. And we've pointed out that kind of thing existed on the web before they filed that patent.
So let me just ask you a question. That we asked for donations for you guys, and you needed like what, 30,000 or something?
Yeah. So these things are really quite a lot of work, and the filing fee alone is $23,000. And so we put out a call to supporters to help us out, and we asked for fundraising. We asked for 30,000, and really quickly we raised over 70. And so we were really grateful to the public and to you and other podcasters that kind of put out the call for that.
Well, now this is awesome. All right, so now you had to look for something called prior art, which you also crowdsourced. Do you want to tell me about that process a little bit?
Yeah. So the idea is if the technology existed before the patent was filed, then it's not valid. And so you have to look for publications that were from before October 2nd, 1996. And we put up a page on Ask Patents asking people to submit ideas, and we got over 100 submissions there, including some of the stuff that we've submitted in this petition.
Now, explain something to me just personally. Now, they claim that this patent was registered in 1996, but how does this process work? So this was a guy, this Dave Logan guy, had some plans laying around for something other than podcasting. Now, how does that become reintroduced? Well, you can just take a patent and you can update it, or what?
Yeah, it is a weird system. So they filed a patent application on October 2nd, 96, and it was more directed to a personal audio player.
Yeah.
And later they decided, you know what, buried in there, maybe there's something about podcasting. And so in 2009, they filed a new patent application and said, we invented podcasting. But they're able to claim priority back to 96 because they're using what's called the specification, which is the original filing from 96.
Okay, so now tell me what the best thing that can happen, because many of us are concerned about this, and obviously it seemed like a shakedown to us, and we were kind of hopeless, and we came together and we talked about it, and we're keeping up with what you guys were doing, and obviously none of us could really afford to defend ourselves in court against this guy, which is really what they're banking on, because they just want us to pay out. Now, I know there's several cases in litigation now. I believe one against Corolla, NBC, How Stuff Works, and a few others. So now what's the best thing that can happen here?
So if we win the patent, the claims that they're asserting against the podcasters would get invalidated, and they wouldn't be able to assert them anymore. And the timeline for our case is about 18 months. So it'll run parallel with the litigation. Most likely, the 6 lawsuits that are going on in Texas will go on at the same time, and they'll go sort of independently. Okay,
so let's say that that this re-exam works, and they decide that the patent's no good. So what happens to all the money spent by the people being sued or the people that have paid out?
Most likely, they wouldn't get that money back if we were successful. Usually, people have to pay their own fees. It is possible to try and get the fees, but that's turned out usually pretty tough.
Yeah, but what if they were awarded? What if Personal Audio is awarded money in their lawsuit, and this turns out to be a bogus patent? Don't they have to return that money anyways?
That gets complicated about like what the conditions were, and often if it's a settlement, it'll sort of be permanent. But hopefully our case will go a little faster than litigation. Usually litigation is even slower than a petition at the patent office.
And tell me a little bit about what's happening within the system in the country, both politically and otherwise, in relation to this patent trolling business. I mean, to predatory patent trolls. It seems like there's a lot of attention on it.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. There's actually 7 bills pending in Congress that are almost all directed at trying to reduce the abusive patent litigation from trolls. So some of them are trying to get a system where if the trolls lost the case, they'd have to pay the other side's fees. Other proposals would make it harder for trolls to file really bare-bones lawsuits without actually explaining why the defendant really infringes the patent. And taken together, these things could help. We don't think it's really fundamental reform to the patent system, but we think they're definitely good steps, and there's attention from the White House, who's spoken up on this issue, and even both sides of politics.
Well, I would think so. Just on both sides, not just the injustice of it or the sort of picking on the little guy, but on the conservative side, the basic attack against entrepreneurism is blatant.
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. The retail association, retailers like supermarkets are really up in arms about this stuff because they're getting sued for using like barcode scanners, and this is technology they buy. They don't create it. And so it's really a strange part of the system that they're getting hauled into court for this. And that's resonating.
But what is that loophole? I mean, why can't you? I mean, that would be an end user, correct?
Yeah.
And I'm an end user as well, correct?
Yeah, well, I presume you didn't write the software that you do your podcast from yourself.
Well, is there any legislation being considered to protect the end user, across the board?
Yeah, not really fundamental across the board. There's some of the reforms are hopefully going to allow that if the manufacturer intervened, the case against the end user would be stayed. And that's good. That would make it better in some cases. Like, I'll give you a quick example. A bunch of cafes have been sued by a patent troll for providing wireless Wi-Fi to their customers.
On what basis?
Because, the patent supposedly covers Wi-Fi, and, these mom-and-pop cafes buy a Cisco router and put it in their cafe, and suddenly they're getting threatened with federal litigation.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and Cisco in that case has really stood up and wants to get involved and defend their customers, but it's been really difficult. And so the reform would help in those cases, but sometimes the manufacturer would also just prefer to sit it out, and so it's not offering full protection for the real sort of people who are buying off-the-shelf technology.
Well, look, I was hoping that this call would make me excited and hopeful and somewhat. Pompously victorious, but I'm not getting that from you, Daniel. You're not providing
it's
me
early days on a campaign, and we're excited to be able to try and defend podcasting here, and we feel we filed a good petition, but ultimately it'll be the patent office who decides, and we're also hopeful that there will be legislative reform. I don't want to be too much of a downer.
All right, well, I'm gonna stay in touch with you. And then I expect to I expect to be informed immediately upon closure of this thing.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Thank you, Daniel. Good talking to you.
You're welcome. Take care.
So we'll see what happens. It's very encouraging, and again, I want to thank you guys for really stepping up and donating to this cause, because it's important. It's important for everybody. It's important that we push these guys back. And, given that I don't talk about politics much, to be engaged in it on a personal level and have you guys support the cause was great. Now let's talk to the lovely and charming Moon Zappa. I don't know what happened there. What went wrong?
Well, you had a girlfriend in the way.
Was that it?
Yes.
Oh. We should have fought harder. What?
Here's the thing about me. I don't like fighting. Libra. I like it. Nice.
I'm a Libra.
Well, then, do you see the problem?
Then you're not the right kind of Libra. I think you're misinterpreting the.
Well, I don't know about that.
What it does the sort of challenge of finding balance require sometimes. Battles.
I'm more the Sting kind of a Libra, where you set them free, and if they come back to you, they're yours.
Yeah, he's not a real Libra.
He's an October Libra.
Yeah, I'm a September Libra.
I'm a September Libra.
Virgo cusp Libra. When's your birthday?
September 28th.
The day after mine?
This is ridiculous.
Did I already know that?
I don't think I knew it.
What does that mean for us?
I definitely would have fought harder.
Yeah, you should have. We could have had the same...
Why didn't you fight harder? Why is it always the lady's responsibility?
I think I was confused, and there was just too much juice. Too much energy.
When you say juice, that's euphemism for energy, not actual juice.
No, and there was not. We weren't juicing then. It was before juicing.
You were an extended cleanse.
Yeah, no, not then. No, I remember it being very intense. I don't mean to bring this up. I'm not trying to sandbag you. We've all had a life, and we've moved on from that.
Well,
yeah.
Sounds like only one of us has.
Me? Have you been? Is that why you're here?
Yes.
Is this an intervention of some kind?
Yes.
An emotional intervention?
Are you sure you want to go through with marriage? I'm the divorce demon.
I've done that. You did it too, right?
I'm still wrapping it up.
Really?
Yeah.
That's horrendous. Mm-hmm. What a horrendous.
Takes a while.
Yeah, it takes
2 people to get in and 11 to get out, and all of your savings.
Yeah, that neither of you get.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you just give the savings to these people you don't know that have turned you even more against each other. And
they're constantly taking vacations. Lawyers, they vacation about 30 times a year.
Or what's worse than vacations is like when you think things are done, you're like, all right, so we're all set. Well, there's this other thing.
Totally.
And you're like, what other thing?
Totally.
The thing that disregards everything we've worked towards up to this point. How much is that going to cost? Well, just to file it. Right, and you're like, why does it cost so much to file something? This seems ridiculous.
I know.
The amount of hate I had towards not only my ex-wife's lawyer, but to my own.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't know, unless you've been divorced twice or unless you have a fortune, you have no idea the process. And at every turn, you're like, all right, we're done. Not quite, because they could just do this again.
Yeah.
Well, how do you stop it? Someone's got to give up.
Yeah, it's like a Greek or Roman myth that
Horrendous.
it just keeps unfolding.
Horrendous.
There's all kinds of life lessons. It's like, I think cancer would be easier because there's things you could actually do. You can cut things out. You can change your diet. Like there's stuff you can do. But this,
no.
It's like an endurance game. You can't. It's a race that you don't know where it's going to end.
I'll tell you where it's going to end. Whoever has more money is going to eventually go, all right, what do we do to stop this? How do we stop? How much is it going to cost at this point to stop this? That's what's going to happen. Whoever has the money will say, what do you need? Guarantee it. I guarantee that's what's going to happen. And how many kids do you have?
1.
How's that kid turning out?
Oh, she seems to be handling things beautifully.
Yeah, she's okay with everything. How old is she?
She's 8. She has a therapist. She's
good.
8.
She
didn't have one before this.
Does she really have a therapist?
It's a just in case preventative.
Preventative therapy.
I think
you
so.
want her to have that relationship in her life.
Think so.
When mommy and daddy can't cut it anymore.
I do think so.
What did your therapist say, honey? She's 9. Is that the kind of questions you're asking an 8-year-old?
A little, I think.
Do you go to therapy with your 8-year-old?
I do.
What is that like?
Well, it's play therapy, so you kind of like interpret the game that she's playing and kind of dismantle that, and then have to translate it. It's like almost like, I don't know if you've ever followed a guru, but like the guru might walk past and might glance at you, and you're like, I think it means, and then you fill in the blank. So.
Right. So it's all speculative and probably bullshit.
Probably. Probably. And it's very expensive, so it seems like it's...
Of course it is. Why wouldn't they tap you for that? I mean, if you're silly enough to do that...
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm judging.
No,
it's
please
probably
judge.
Great. No,
I'm judging
great.
it.
You are?
Yes.
How long has she been in therapy?
I would say about a year.
I went to therapy when I was young, but not 8. But I remember being brought to a guy. There was a lot of games in the room. So you play a game, and then you assess your kid's behavior.
Yeah.
And with the doctor.
Yeah.
And then you look at the doctor and go, what? And the doctor goes, well, what's your kid's name?
Matilda.
Matilda, why did you throw the piece? That kind of thing?
No, in her particular case, she has about 2 weeks after something happens, then she'll have a seemingly unrelated upset.
Really?
So yeah, just
she's a stuffer.
And she also has a lot of digestive things that happen as a result of
stuffing things.
Possibly emotionally not being able to digest what's going on.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Because I'm having some digestive issues.
No.
That can happen because of your brain?
Are things coming too fast and too furious for you?
Are you asking if I have diarrhea? Are you being kind?
No, I mean, like, are you trying to...
Yes, it's been a difficult time. Yeah. It's been a very overwhelming few months. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're saying that maybe that's it?
Yes, I am.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And your therapist told you this? The expensive one that talked to you about your kid? Mm-hmm. All right, so this is good. I'm just getting therapy by proxy then.
Then I took her to a guy he's an osteopath, and that's a whole other world. That's some outstanding. So they do a combination of like Eastern, Western, and then some witchcraft kind of stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's always good when they have a diploma for witchcraft from the Crowley School.
Exactly.
You're really good. You're covering all the options.
And he noticed that she needed to. He said, "Did she do any crawling before she walked, or did she just like jump into walking?" I was like, "Oh, she kind of did leap into walking." He goes, "Yeah, I got to go back and redo those crawling stages."
So now you got to make your 8-year-old crawl?
She lies on the floor. I do it with her because I'm sure I had to leap to stand and run too.
Yeah.
So, and it does some cross patterning with your brain. So then you're lying on the floor and you're doing right leg, right arm, left leg, left arm, and then you do the cross patterning version, and then it's supposed to like reset your parasympathetic nervous system and a whole bunch of other stuff.
This sounds very clinical.
Yeah. It sounded like real medicine.
Yeah, it almost does. Do you do this on a mat? Do you go to the yoga studio and do this with the kid?
You can do it anywhere.
I'm
really into behaving like a child in public. I think it's super fun because I just marvel at. I just want to lick every surface.
Yeah,
I missed out on all this stuff. Like my father had a bit of a reputation
as
a little bit, eccentric. And I did not cash in on the eccentricity chip. I thought I'll just...
Are you kidding?
I'll look for... No, I don't think I did.
You don't think you're eccentric?
Well, I'm
You're
starting to
taking
think
your kid to witch doctors and crawling around with your 8-year-old. That's what do you think? That's just average person behavior?
Is that not?
No, that's a mixture of eccentric and too much free time on your hands.
I felt like I researched things pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, but research doesn't mean anything's true. I mean, I can go on the internet too, and you're like, oh, this is substantiated by another fucking idiot. So I guess it's real. I'm going to go Yelp my witch doctor.
I think everything else is easy. Being in relation with other. Parenting
What about
easier.
the whole marrying a musician business?
What about it?
You could have had a world of men to choose from. You married a musician.
Are you saying I made a bad choice? Are you saying something about musicians?
Sure. I'm saying
You know,
both of those things.
you have a lot of listeners, and some of them, I'm thinking a lot of them are musicians.
They know who they are. They know what I'm talking about. Come on. You could have married a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not judging a musician. I think it's interesting, don't you? Don't you, Moon? Isn't it interesting?
Well, I avoided it for as long as possible.
The musicians?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and you know what's weird? He never played music in the house.
Well, that's an indicator.
Of
like, what was he doing? He wasn't doing dishes. He wasn't playing music. What the fuck was he doing?
I don't have an answer for you.
What do you mean? You never played music in the house? Did you?
He was shy.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he was the drummer, right?
But then he plays every instrument. So.
Oh, he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
A wizard.
Super talented.
Nice guy. I did meet him. Can I say that?
Yeah. I think he's a nice guy, too.
You do? Mm-hmm. Do you want to move on? This is the second time I've seen mime like that in this room. I'm trying to remember what the first one was. Similar situation. Actually, it's Pamela Adelon did a similar mime off mic. And a similar topic. All right, so what are you doing? I mean, the last time I saw you, I think there was yoga in the discussion. Oh,
Yeah.
because that guy asked me to come to his yoga studio, and I never went.
That's right.
I never went.
I'm sure they'd still invite you.
You do?
I do. I'm sure of it.
Like if I emailed him 2 years later,
Yes.
is this still an open
Yes.
invitation? Because I think I'm back in. I
should do
exercised
it.
twice last week for the first time in a long time. I'm eating better. But do they have the flow kind, the power kind?
They have all of it.
Really? Where
Yeah.
I can like hurt myself possibly doing yoga? That's the kind of yoga I like to do, where it's dangerous, where
Really?
it's not meditative, it's more
It's just pure risk.
yeah, like I think I can do that. Nope. And now I can't walk.
Surprisingly, I think it's way harder for, and I'm going to put you in this category, people like us, to do a restorative class.
Right, because we're anxious or
That's
panicky or impatient,
I
aggravated.
Think, yes, I think lying still in corpse pose, shavasana, is possibly one of the most challenging things a person can do. Because the mind is just freed. It's just untethered at that point.
Yeah, it's horrendous to have an
in
untethered
a public
mind.
setting.
Mine always goes
Yeah.
to like my mind. Who can I hurt with this mind? My mind is untethered and wants to hit somebody. Where can I throw my mind at? And usually in that situation, it's a yoga teacher. I'm like, why am I paying for whatever didn't work out for you? Why am I seeing this as spiritual when you clearly things didn't happen for you? You ended up here. This was not a life choice.
Do you think? Do you think no one chooses yoga?
It's a
You
rare...
come to it on your knees.
Yeah.
When everything else is...
It's either yoga or Jesus.
Well, I'm right on track. I always think about you're thinking about it takes 10 years to become an overnight
I've
sensation.
upped that to 20. Oh. I've had to adjust that joke.
Or a bitter asshole. It makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
I think about it a lot.
Are you teaching yoga?
I'm not teaching.
Oh, okay.
I just did the training, but I'm not teaching it.
You did do the training?
Yeah, I did the training, and my sister's in the training now. Because what I'd like to do is open up a Zappa yoga studio. Wouldn't you take some Zappa yoga? I would.
Zappa yoga, it's catchy, man. And fuck, half of your dad's more obscure records you could use as
That's
fucking
exactly
yoga
right.
music.
Enjoy. That'd be super relaxing. How about a flow class to some of that crazy shit?
Yeah, just have it like to do a half-hour guitar solo. we're gonna flow to like some obscure titled record part 3. Mm-hmm. Shut up and do your yoga. Mm-hmm. The third disc. Oh, good. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. I'm on board. Can I get in on the ground level of Zappa yoga?
Yeah, because I have to still complete some of my hours, so I can come over and we can just do a swap.
You have to do flight hours?
Well, you have to do all your hours to get your official certifications.
There's like
your practice hours.
It's therapy. It's almost like to become a therapist. Oh, really? Is there a board that oversees this?
Yes.
And it's a real thing?
Well, yes.
As real as a yoga board could be?
Yes, exactly.
Who are these people and what school?
Why don't you start a comic board or something like a...
We've tried. There's no wrangling those fuckers. There's no...
Are you sure?
I'm positive. But a comic board?
Did you Libra give up on this? What's going on?
What does Libra give up mean?
Well, we started off with talking about...
No, I know, but is that a thing?
No,
Libra give up?
Just now, TM.
Huh. That and Zappa Yoga, which I'm sure you TM'd already.
It's TM.
It is? Did you TM it? Well, you better, before some weird Zappa cousin.
Do you know how hard my mother would come after that? My mother has a reputation for... She would harm you if you tried to do something with Zappa. Not you, but a person.
Libra give up. I like that. I think that, like, why do you have experience with giving up?
Well, I don't view it as giving up. I view it as coming to a good, solid conclusion about not continuing a thing that would eventually waste my time.
So that's Libra rationalizing, I think. Which is a reframing of Libra give up.
I think so.
Do you do that? Do you exhaust yourself and I got an idea and I can't. I'm gonna have to go outside.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to drive to the place.
Yeah, I know. Believe me. How
many hours shy are you of your yoga license?
Only 24. You have to do 25. I'm only 24 shy.
You've only done 1 hour?
Whatever.
So you took the classes?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how long this shit's going to fly. Because I have a yoga instructor, Joe, who teaches yoga. Mm-hmm. But he's a little heavy set. Mm-hmm. But he does a power yoga class at the Y in Hollywood, mm-hmm. and I used to go every Sunday. And I just wonder what he had to go through to become a master. Or
had to fall away?
Yeah. Yeah, because he was great. Because he would play Pink Floyd, he plays some Zeppelin sometimes, like depending on how aggravated he was.
Yeah.
There were actual yoga classes that I would go to where you'd be like, I think I'm getting a bad feeling. I think whatever Joe's going through is infusing into my being, and I'm now aggravated for whatever didn't work out for Joe.
Well, I think yoga teachers, the best of them, are their own unconditional best friend, and so they are a work in progress, and I mean, I don't really trust people that are just natural yogis because they don't really have anything to really teach somebody. I like somebody who's been through hell, like maybe they had a drinking problem.
Everything is two failed marriages,
all of it, and then they're still smiling. Like those are the people I enjoy.
Smiling with I call it
with a base of venom.
Right, the hate smile.
The hate smile.
Yeah. Like I have an aggressive peace of mind.
Yes, exactly.
But wait. So how does it work for you though? I mean, is there a spiritual component to it, or are you just looking to to sweat and make people do things?
The only way I can calm my mind is to exhaust myself in every conceivable way, and then it shuts the factory down.
Is that what yoga is?
Yes.
Is that really the idea?
For me, yes.
But
yeah, no, you're breathing at the same time that you're moving, at the same time that your mind is focusing. So after you've done it, it's outstanding. You have 3 seconds of relief, and then you got to probably take another class. But still, for those 3 poignant, remarkable seconds, it's worth it.
You better appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to go quick. It's only a few seconds. That was a great class.
But the idea is that you keep, if you're trying to make changes, that you keep adding the good thing, and little by little, the crappy things fall away. Like if a baby is distracted with, say, your car keys or a little thing of rat poison, you'd hand them a shiny object to take the thing out of their hand. For example.
Rat poison.
Yeah.
And the car keys not so dangerous.
Well,
my kid's not going to drive away at that age. You wouldn't think.
Do you have a kid?
I don't have
one.
This
is your future kid.
Yeah.
It would not, you're certain your future child.
My future infant would not take the keys and figure out how to drive it. If he did that, I would be like, my life is made. I've got a wizard kid.
Well.
And let's start using him as a money funnel.
Well.
Look what my kid can do.
Oh, I would love to see you as a stage dad. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would be.
Where you just surrender your own career, just driving your wonder kid around.
The wonder kid, who's more genius than me and everything. To
put that child through. Have you been on auditions? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that child keeps going, but then, having a great time.
I'd rather him be a prodigy kid. I don't want to give him baby food commercials. I want him to to sort of like crawl into the garage and see that guitar right there
Mm-hmm.
and just pick it up and do that.
It could happen.
No, that does happen.
I know, it does.
What is with those fucking kids? Your brothers weren't like that. Ahmed he worked hard to do that. Was it Dweezil?
Dweezil's a little like that.
Is he really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
From the very beginning? Sounds like he worked really hard to be a great guitar player.
Yeah, no, he was a bit of a social outcast with having.
What's the other one doing? The one with had the shaved head all the time.
He's doing he's a producer and he writes movies. He also was a toy maker and he writes children's books.
Really?
Among
popular children's books?
Well, I don't know. I don't pay attention. What do you mean by popular? Like
Does he
by
sell
whose
books?
standards? I guess
Your
so.
kids read them? This is your brother. You can tell me that the Zappa clan is not in touch with the other ones?
Well,
What?
ish,
Come on.
adjacent.
Now, don't you live in a compound?
No, I wish that would be
Is there a
great.
Zappa
I've always
compound where
wanted
you-
one. Well, my mother's house is as big as a compound.
She lives in the original house?
Yeah, it's like Grey Gardens over there. My mom and my sister live there.
What, Diva lives
Yeah.
with your mother in what, Laurel Canyon or
Yes.
somewhere? In the original hippie weird house?
Yeah.
Huh.
And the house has been under construction since 1969 without ceasing.
What? They're still working on your dad's studio?
There's always my mother's like, let's move a wall, let's add a window.
I want to
What
do
about
that.
a skylight? She just keeps going.
Yeah?
It's outstanding.
All right, so she lives over
Like
there.
this
with her-
room, she could turn this into 4 rooms, a kitchen and a bathroom, and it would go up, and she'd probably do something in the basement that doesn't.
There's no
exist.
basement.
I know.
I think skunks live in the ground under this.
Well, not after she's through with this place.
Really?
Yeah.
She's a constant remaker of things?
Yes. She
And
cannot.
she just keeps adding on
Yeah.
up there?
Uh-huh.
Is it weird?
It's if this were a therapy and I was looking at her mind in terms of how she constructs things, she's always making new pathways, so making new connections. She just keeps trying to like outrun the past and then keep
Building onto
it at the same time.
You can't outrun the past if you're in the same fucking house. I think I should write that down. It's like an adage. You can't outrun the past if you're in the same fucking house.
Yes, exactly.
So, all right. So you grew up in that house.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about. Listen to me. Talk a little bit about
I
that.
said when
Talk a little bit
things
about
were
that.
getting really bad, I said to her, "If things get really bad, can I come move back in the house during the divorce?"
Uh-huh.
And she said, "Well,
Oh.
too many breaks and pauses." And then she
Yeah.
goes, "It is my time to have parties." So,
Really?
Yeah.
And how old's your mom?
She's born in 45. So what is that?
Older
Older
than
than
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
I was trying to get a reality show off the ground with me and Diva and my mom, like a dating show, because Diva
So your mom's
is like
gonna
a
have
spinster.
parties.
I guess
Something
I'm
like
kind
that?
of
No.
supposed to be like a cougar, and then my mom would be like a saber tooth.
She's 68 years old.
You're giving me great ideas for her next gifts, though. I'm gonna get her a bus pass. I'm gonna get her the stuff at the zoo. They can go for free, right?
So what? Your mom's having parties, dating.
Senior citizens get great movie rates too, right?
Sure, they can do whatever they
Okay.
want. Yeah, but you don't need to go to the movies.
Why?
I want to talk about. I want to talk about Laurel Canyon in the 70s.
Okay. Who are we gonna call to discuss it?
Well, you were a kid.
I know that I was a kid. That's right.
What are you bothered by this conversation?
No, I'm just saying I don't know if I can answer your questions because I was a child.
What are your
at the time.
first memories?
Well, one story I have is about my mom would hitchhike with me to the canyon store. She'd be barefoot. I'd
That
be
one
barefoot.
store on Laurel
Yes.
Canyon Boulevard?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'd go for Winston cigarettes for my dad and maybe some milk for
Winston's. He smoked
the
Winston's?
tea in my baby bottle. You know,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
And apparently somebody was trying to pick my mom up, and I think I had my frilly underwear on my head.
Yeah.
Fashion statement. And
You still do that sometimes,
I think
right?
I do.
Yeah.
And I guess I ended up saying to this stranger, "Fuck off, pervert," and she thought it was just charming.
How
So
old were you?
It's a family story. 2, I think.
That's great. Fuck off, pervert.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that store was like the only store there then. Mm-hmm. It still kind of is, isn't
Yeah.
it? I'm sort of fascinated that you, because I know you a long time, but we've never talked about this.
No.
I think this is the stuff that really needs to come out of you.
Yeah.
To really fix whatever went wrong.
Wait. Why do you think something went wrong?
I don't know. Look at yourself.
Okay. What do you mean?
You're trying to be a yoga instructor.
No, I'm not trying to be a yoga instructor. I did the teacher's training. That was just me just checking in. I like to check out a bunch of things.
Nothing went wrong. You're doing great.
I'm doing great.
I know.
I'm not broken.
You're not broken. I'm not either. That's what people don't understand
Yeah.
about us.
What if this is fixed?
What?
what if I'm the representative of what fixed looks like? What if this is like flourishing, and thriving?
Everyone else is on the wrong track.
Saying.
You are perfect.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you should say that as much as possible. I don't think you're broken. What does broken mean?
You'd have to compare yourself to something else, is what you'd have to do, which I'm not interested in doing anymore.
I think. Well, let's see. Right. Okay. But I think broken for me means like, hey, I should be capable of handling this simple situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not. Other adults seem to be able to handle the situation I'm dealing with right now.
First of all, do you really even know any adults?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
Really?
Yeah. They're not happy. They put a lot of time into sort of championing the idea that they're responsible and that they're owning up to their responsibilities, and they're doing the thing. But you look inside of them for a brief second and you just see help me. It's a great characterization of an adult kind of, but it's not really. But did you see Silver Linings Playbook?
I didn't see it. I heard it was really good.
His friend, did you see it, Tracy? The friend, it's like, that guy who's like, I play Metallica, really, that there's something teeming inside of adults. But I don't know that freedom and choosing your own path and all that stuff, that's it's not that it's overrated, but it's difficult. Come on.
Well, are you saying, is that a pro being an adult or against being an adult?
There are some things I wish I could handle. Like, I'd like to move, perhaps buy a home, another home. I didn't know how to buy this one when I bought it. And I'm still not clear about the numbers of everything. Like how do mortgages work? Am I getting fucked somehow? Like things that adults sit down and they manage.
Well, here's the thing. I think you just assume, yes, you're getting fucked at all times. So it's getting fucked over management. So it's just managing your anxiety about getting fucked over. I just have to assume the worst. That's how I can feel safe. Because I don't.
Yeah, I do that too. But how is that a way to go through life? Like, okay, I'll just think the worst is happening, and then if anything better than that happens, it's a good day. So that means, what that means? You're clinically negative.
So you're saying like it's a bad thing.
You just see it as being like, no, I'm a realist.
That's right.
Things are bad.
Yeah.
I'm just having a slight reprieve right now because I'm not thinking about it.
When was the last time you made a 5-year plan for yourself?
A 5-year plan? Well, how about a tomorrow plan? How about what's on my schedule?
But you could do like a checklist, like, are my choices in alignment with my 5-year plan? So,
have you made a 5-year plan?
No, I'm going to make one this week.
You're trying
I'm going to vision board and make a 5-year plan.
Vision board?
Yes.
What's a vision board?
Where you take pictures from a magazine and you create your future.
That's a vision board?
Yes,
that
collaging.
That teenage girls do?
Yes, I'm going to do that. This week.
All right.
I'm going to make the 5-year plan. I'm going to vision board.
Are you painting or drawing or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm doing it all.
Did you paint this morning?
I didn't paint this morning.
You do paint though.
But I was so creative with how I made my tea. It was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
Just making art everywhere. I made my bed beautifully.
You did?
Yes.
You make your bed every day?
Well, I'm trying this new pillow arrangement, and so far it's
how many pillows do you
like
have?
about 100. I love pillows.
Yeah.
I have a weakness for bedding. When I overspend, I'll overspend on jelly.
Yeah.
I will overspend, and I get it too much jelly.
How much can you really overspend on jelly?
I'm really on an apple butter kick right now.
Apple butter?
Yeah, I'm on an apple butter kick. And I found the greatest apple butter. And when I went to...
Share.
I can't remember the name of it. It's at Bristol Farms, and it's a delicious apple butter. And when I went back to go because after my research of apple butters, I was like, this is the one.
Yeah.
And then they were out of it.
So you did research on apple butter?
Well, what I mean by research is I ate a lot of apple butter.
But you're like, I just discovered apple butter. I need to know more about it.
I didn't do that kind of research. I did I like this apple butter. I'm going to taste a bunch of different kinds of apple butters, and then I'm going to decide which one I'm going to overstock my pantry with.
But apple butter, in my recollection,
yes, is
just very fine applesauce.
It's like a thicker, heartier applesauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you put this on?
Gluten-free toast.
Gluten-free toast.
Yeah, or you just put it on a spoon.
And just eat it.
Yeah. But I go through a lot of spoons because I'll be like, I just want one, spoonful. And then I don't want to double dip because that's creepy.
It's creepy in your own house?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think you're...
Well, what if I have a guest come over and I know that I've double dipped in my own apple butter? That's gross.
Is it?
I think so.
What do you...
I don't want it...
What's in your mouth?
Well, that makes me nervous to eat any of your food.
What are you talking about? You think that anything in my house that my mouth has touched is somehow going to do what? What do you think is what?
That's a good question.
I mean,
Thank you. I should have gone deeper. You're right, Mark. That's right. Go further. Don't just stop at one anxiety. Go all the way.
Go all the way.
Yeah.
What are you afraid
I think we'll fall in love. That's what I'm afraid of.
No, that happened years ago.
And then we'll die.
No. The apple butter thing, though. All right, so you spend too much money on apple butter.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing?
Bedding.
Okay, tell me about bedding.
I love a good down pillow or a duvet.
What about sheets? The count?
The thread count. Yeah.
Do you like to slide around on your sheets?
I went out with a German man many years ago, and I'm all about the fitted sheet.
This doesn't end in poop, does it?
No.
Okay.
And he would only use the fitted sheet and then a duvet cover and then two pillows that would be flat. And I was like, that is very, very
utilitarian.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I kind of got a little crush on it.
Yeah.
And so
because it was simple. It's like, how do you keep your life so uncomplicated?
That's what I'm saying.
The discipline involved.
That's right. That's why I'm going to just commit to apple butter and those two pillows and that one fitted sheet.
That's all you need. It's like that. I don't know if you've ever moved, but when everything's out but your bed, and you're like, why am I not living like this? This is like so peaceful and great. I don't miss any of this shit.
I might just move a coffin in. Like vampires have it right.
Yeah.
Just have a coffin.
No? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good.
Yeah.
And that's sort
and a
of
favorite
like,
coffee mug. But besides that, yeah.
I'm going to give you a mug, I think.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. You like mugs?
I do.
All right. So bedding and
pottery. Oh, I will stop if there's any if there's tents and there's like a crafts fair.
Yeah.
I will break so hard.
Why? What stopped you from doing that?
I did do that. I tried it.
Did you have a wheel?
I took pottery classes and I'm terrible at it. I kept trying the wheel classes again. It's very, very. I mean, it's very confronting. You'll really find out about yourself trying karaoke.
Well, yeah,
pottery. And any of movement.
Trying to get that thing when it's spinning into the shape.
Yeah.
And then pieces start flying
because your personality is always there.
Yeah.
And so, if you just, it's fascinating.
And the whole thing can go to crap right when you got it right.
And then it's your reaction to
karaoke.
It's awesome.
You have a problem with karaoke?
I'm just saying these are the ways to really get to the heart of things. Like if you don't have enough money for therapy. Go take
I'm terrified of karaoke.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's very confronting.
But
you'll find out everything about yourself. Do you look up? Are you embracing the crowd? What's your shtick? What's your thing? You just kind of get a sense of yourself.
I finally sang in public a couple years ago.
And?
Playing the guitar. And I did okay.
Did you have to wear an adult diaper?
No, I don't do that.
No?
I don't poop when I'm nervous.
You don't?
I sweat a bit sometimes.
Okay. So
as soon as I put a guitar on, I'm covered in sweat if I'm in front of people. Not in here. But if I put guitar on in public, I'm sweating almost immediately.
And when you're in here, are you also on a giant stadium stage, too, at the same time? Or what's happening?
No, usually I'm just sitting in with some of the best.
Who's in the room with you, in your mind?
Well, whoever I'm playing to.
Okay.
It's usually, kind of blues guys. Because I don't listen to blues music a lot, but I'll play with it. I find it very satisfying. I tend to play a lot with
Memphis style or?
No, probably Chicago style.
Okay.
I play a lot with the original Fleetwood Mac when it was a blues band. Peter Green, I like Peter Green. He's British. I'm assuming I'm going to make him Jewish.
Okay.
A British Jewish blues player. The Fabulous Thunderbirds I'll play with sometimes. I'm working on. I'll play. What do I play with? Those guys.
Any modern stuff?
Modern? Do I play with modern people?
Yeah, like Bjork or.
I don't even understand that shit.
Okay.
I don't understand a lot of it. It's all very complicated. I like to keep it simple. Like your dad's stuff, I can't wrap my brain around that. Can you?
Nope.
I did just. I went through a bunch of CDs that I took to Amoeba yesterday, and the first Mother's album was in there.
Well, it's going to be some 15 or 12-year-old is going to have an unbelievable time.
No, I have carried his music around for years, and I listen to it, and I'm like, I'm just not ready. Like Captain Beefheart, that was another one. I'm actually doing a bit on stage about it.
What do you talk about?
Well, I started getting into vinyl again, so I got a bunch of fucking records, and for some reason, Beefheart has been hanging over me for my entire life. I'm like, maybe I'm ready. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
And I listen to it and I get it, but I don't know if I'm going to go back to it.
Right.
Did you know that guy?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He came to the house. One of my favorite memories of him is came to the house and he had a new hole in his nose that he just made with a pencil, sharpened pencil, and he closed the nostril and he could whistle out of it. He made a little nose flute himself.
Did he come excited? Is that the reason why he came to the house?
Well, his version of excited was he was pretty slow moving.
Yeah.
It was pretty. It was a
What
pretty,
was his real name?
Don Van Vliet.
Don Van Vliet. And his nose whistle?
And his nose whistle.
So he came over and he's like, I got something.
Yeah, he had that to show me. So.
How old were you?
Uncle Captain Beefheart showed me his nose whistle.
Did you have to call him Captain Beefheart?
I think I don't think I even called him anything. I think I just.
That's that guy.
Did. Yeah.
Dad's friend.
Yeah. I was probably 6. I don't know, something like that. Maybe younger.
Do you have good memories of all those freaks?
When you say good memories, what do you mean?
I mean, like,
did anyone touch me in the bad way?
No.
No. Do I? Yeah, I mean, there were some funny things that happened in the house. Definitely. I'm trying to think of another.
There's a sort of clowning element to the whole fucking undertaking of the Mothers and all those guys, right?
Yeah.
I mean, beneath the on top of this amazing music and this like weird anal kind of creativity, they were fucking.
Yeah, no, I mean
clowns.
There were a lot of clowns. So there was the animator Bruce Bickford in the basement with all his beard had little rubber bands in his beard, and he would be, again, a lot of slow moving people. Very, very.
Why were they? Are you talking about them like they were some different breed of person?
They are a different breed of person.
They were fucking nerds.
Yes, I would even extreme nerds. I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why was the animator in the basement?
He was working on some animation, but it takes a long time, so he'd like have to move.
Back then, it did, right?
Yeah.
What you mean, like clay shit?
Yeah.
Also, he's making models too.
Yeah.
For your dad.
And then click with the thing, and then move.
This was just going on, and music was going on elsewhere.
Yeah. And I remember Eric Bogosian doing something in the basement and hearing some creepy story about a homeless man giving blowjobs. And I was like, wait, men can give blowjobs to other men?
That's where you learned that?
I think so.
From Eric Bogosian's voice coming out of your basement.
Yeah. Not just men, but like a toothless, old
homeless
man.
Yeah.
And then I was marveling, like, who would have that for themselves?
Is that something
who's getting that
want?
thing? So even if a man is doing, who's then? How did that arrangement happen? So there was a lot, like, too much information too soon, and just trying to just dismantle it in therapy.
Yeah.
For many, many years after.
Just maybe you should call Bogosian and just get to the source, and he'll tell you that was some guy made up. Fine. Why was he at your house? He was just hanging around?
He was working with Frank or something, yeah.
Did you call him Frank?
Well, it was Frank and Gail, yeah.
Really?
Like every family. No? So, no?
It's good to have that distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's better to be on a first name basis than to assume parental roles or child roles. It's nice that everyone's just growing up together as opposed to, sort of doing family things.
Yeah, well.
Frank's busy.
Yeah.
Gail's doing something.
Yep.
I guess I'll just go to listen to Captain Beefheart play his nose whistle.
Yep.
Like, I have to assume, just by the sheer volume of shit Frank turned out, that he was always
busy in the studio. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he was not doing a lot of parenting, surprisingly.
Did he go out there aggravated? Like, I don't know.
He never raised his voice. He was a soft spot. He was like Spock in that way. Like Spock and Jesus had a baby.
It'd be Frank Zappa.
Frank Zappa. Yeah.
I think a lot of Zappa heads are like, exactly. That is so exactly right. You're right?
Yeah, super, super logical and so funny. Just so funny. Like, unfortunately, he really set the bar high, and so I have no respect for any men except for you.
Oh, that was a good catch.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Funny how? Like, how was he funny?
He just was just...
Deadpan? Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like, interviewers would really struggle because they'd be like, were you feeling this? And did you do this? And how was this? He'd just say, no. He just answered that, like, whatever the bottom line common denominator answer, like, he just cut to the chase. He didn't give anybody anything extra.
Yeah.
He really conserved his energy. It was really interesting.
Well, some musicians do that, they don't have to talk. It's like, shut up and listen to the thing.
It's true. And what I find really interesting, I think musicians are more interesting to talk to than actors, for example.
Actors?
Wow.
Of course.
Well, no, but you see, who gets interviewed on all the talk shows? actors. That's ridiculous.
No, believe me, I've talked to my share of actors, and some of them, if you keep it in, around craft and around who they are, but it gets a little tricky when you just want to talk. You're like,
any life experience at all? Anything?
Yeah.
Just nothing?
I find that when an actor stops talking, there's a lot of nothing going on. Yeah. Like they stop talking, you're like, okay, I better, hi, how are you? Are we still here?
Yeah.
What's happening? And I don't want to be rude, because I've had some actors now, I think they get savvy is what happens, is that if they get enough practice talking as themselves, sometimes they can manage it for about an hour. But the trick with musicians, though, is that, just from my experience talking to them here, is that if they volunteer to sit for an hour, then they want to talk. But the trick is, it's like, who am I talking to? Am I talking to your idea of yourself that you've committed to in order to move through the public's conception of you, or are we going to talk to a person here? Is there a struggle between those two? And some of them, they're very integrated. You're like, I really believe you're this guy. And then occasionally, you're like, usually with the older musicians that have nothing to lose anymore, you're like, oh, see, there's a dude that's been through some shit, and we can talk about it. But like, I had a tricky time with Nick Cave in here.
Oh, really?
That was a little difficult. It took a while, and I sensed that he knew that I was struggling, and he knew that. I got the sense after the interview that he knew, like, I know it's difficult. I understand what you went through, but I got to go. That's why. No, it's just, they don't have to be forthcoming. Because all the music speaks for themselves.
I'm wondering who else was on that list of people you were talking to.
Oh, I talked to John Cale recently. I talked to Tom York.
Are these people that you have some admiration for across the board, or they're like, how are you? How are you picking the music people?
Sometimes they come to me because I seem to do well with them. So some publicists are like, will you talk to my guy? And I'm like, I guess. Like the guys from Blues Travelers came up somehow, and they're like, you want to talk to Blues Traveler? I'm like, yeah, I'd like to see that guy play harmonica in my house. He did. He played harmonica in my house.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're all they're fun guys. Most of the time, it's pretty. I talked to Jay Mascis, but it turned out that he wanted to do the show. It wasn't like he didn't have to do the show. None of them have to do it. So like he, and he's a very quiet dude, and he's not forthcoming, and he talks, with single answers, but he wanted to do it. So I had to figure out, like, well, he wants to be here. I'm just going to keep pushing. And eventually he did kind of pop open, and Dinosaur Jr. fans around the world rejoice.
Who's somebody that you are desperate to talk to that you don't have access to yet?
Though I think there's a lot of those.
Like who?
Musician wise?
Anybody. I'm just curious, like, what would be something that would blow your mind?
Well, I think that, not even Woody Allen anymore, because I saw that documentary. Like, some people, like, especially the people that don't talk to a lot of people, when they finally do talk, it's like, well, they're done for God knows how long. I mean, you know what I mean? They just did the thing. Like Albert Brooks, I think would be interesting if I could get him for an hour. And
who was a tough interview for me was Katie Lang. She was really scary. She scared the crap out of me.
Why'd you interview her?
Well, when I was living in New York, when I knew you, I was working at VH1, and so I would interview musicians for that show. Got to interview Brian Ferry and finally meet the John from Duran Duran at long last. All that wishing energy does go somewhere, it turns out. But no, when I met Katie Lang, she just absolutely terrified me. And she during the interview, she looked at me and goes, "Why are you doing this?" Yeah. And she meant like as a life choice. Yeah. And honestly, I think I quit like 3 weeks later. Really? Yeah, because Janine Garofalo had just quit SNL, and I was like, if Janine can quit SNL, I think I can quit my crappy job here at VH1. Right. After Katie Lang has given me a scolding. Yeah. About it. But she just was like, she blew my mind. And I kept thinking, if I was watching this interview, I would be like, woo, she's hilarious. She's outstanding. But that interview was getting her ass reamed, and it was me getting the reaming.
It's scary when you get reamed. Yeah. And they're right.
Yeah. Oh, the worst.
Reamers trolls are like that too. Like if they can sort of just focus in on the one thing that you've sort of somehow accommodated soul-wise. Like, I can do this because, and they're like, can you? And you're like, oh, you're right. It's not right.
The other feeling that's crazy is when people are excruciatingly sincere.
Oh yeah, because that's devious.
Why do you say it's devious? I mean, sincerely, they're really that sincere where you're earnest? Just like, you're not earnest, like really, like overly present. Right. But then I always wonder, would they be like the best lovers in the world? Would they be like the most incredibly attentive lovers in the world?
I don't know if sincere means attentive. I mean, there's a real good chance that, they'd be really shitty lovers because sincere, maybe implies a kind of groundedness that may not require pleasing other people as much as they need to be pleased. They could sincerely say, "Are you good?" And you'd be like, "Nah." And you'd be like, "I'm okay. I'm good."
But there's some people that just exude that thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
what, are you saying that it's sincerity on that level is sexy?
I don't know if it's sincere. No, I'm saying it's not. There's something where when they're really ready to just like be with all the feelings, it can be. I think.
I don't know anybody like that. It's bullshit. If you're with all your feelings, if you're like that person, I can be with all my feelings. Well, they must not be very deep. I mean, how can you? There's not one in there that's just like, you got them all in check. You know what? I have no.
Why? Now that's interesting. You would think they'd all be in check what if they can be with even their crappiest self?
Well, you got no choice. What do you mean? What does that even mean?
Resist it. You could resist it.
Yeah, I know, but but you're still with it.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And that resistance is what makes you interesting. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a good lover. The one that's resisting those horrible feelings until they can't anymore. You got to grab them right at that moment. Yeah, this guy's about to pop. You're fucking take him under my wing. You're in trouble. Come here and fuck me. Right?
Yeah.
So after the VH1 thing,
yeah,
you wandered.
Mm-hmm, I wandered.
I didn't know you in New York. I feel like I knew you here.
Nope, I knew you in New York because that's when like Todd Barry and Louis C.K. and there was that. All the guy, the I.O., I mean, the Upright Citizens Brigade
Besser
shows and
I just feel like
there was a place on Monday nights. Yeah, I was here in L.A., but on Monday nights there was a place, I feel like in the East Village.
Luna Lounge.
Yeah.
But what is it, what have you been doing? You wrote the book.
Yeah.
I saw it in the bookstore down the street. It was beyond coincidence. A couple of things happened. I brought a bunch of books in there, and I saw your book, and it was like 2 days ago, and I'm like, I could read that and prep. And then I'm like, no.
You're good.
I'm good. I know her, kind of. And then I got an email today, because I'm in this legal, not really me, but there's a legal issue about patent trolls. And some guy sent me an email referencing something your father did.
Oh, I like
saying,
it.
like, Frank Zappa did this before anybody. And he was very excited. Oh, where is that? That might be
That's so funny, yeah.
Where is it?
Well, if you need help, my mom.
Oh, here we go.
My mom can help you.
No, it's about the patent troll. And he said, "Here's your solution, because when there's a patent infringement thing, like in order to sort of discredit the patent, you have to find something that existed prior." Mm-hmm. And some guy has claimed the patent to podcasting of being able to post episodes in a timely something. So this guy says, here's a solution. Frank Zappa invented the whole concept of iTunes, podcasts, and even the burgeoning streaming audio industry back in the 80s. Presumably, if Zappa documented these inventions before the troll suing you filed his patent, that should invalidate the troll's claims, right? Go pick up a copy of FZ's autobiography, The Real Frank Zappa book, copyright 1989. Flip straight to page 337. This will drop you into the middle of a chapter entitled Failure. Here, FZ is describing some ideas he had that he considered at the time to have been failures. On page 337, he describes, quote, a proposal for a system to replace phonograph record merchandising, unquote. Long story short, he describes in a book published in 1989, we need it before 1996, his idea for recording record companies to use phone lines or cable lines to allow consumers to download content of their choice from a central server. The record companies thought he was crazy, thus his listing of the idea is a failure, in a book published 7 years before Jim Logan's patent. Of course, now FC's idea describes iTunes, Pandora, podcasts, and pretty much the business model for the entire industry.
Oh, that is outstanding. That is outstanding. That is so funny. Wow.
And I wrote back to him, I said, interesting, thanks. And he goes, you're very welcome. If it actually helps your case, it would make my day to hear about that. Not being an opportunistic troll myself, I don't want any recognition or reward for bringing it to your attention, but I definitely would love to hear if it actually does help you. The idea of Zappa being able to call bullshit on something from beyond the grave has a certain poetry to it.
I love it. And who's the guy who wrote it?
Some dude.
What's his name?
His name's Michael.
Michael. He rocked it. I love it. That is awesome.
So there you go. That happened
awesome.
today.
That's crazy.
And you're coming in today.
That's crazy.
I wonder if it's real. I forwarded it to the lady.
Oh, I'm sure it's real.
No, I'm sure it's in the book, but I wonder if it could actually be used.
Oh, I wonder. For your purposes.
Proof. So how do you occupy your time? I'm not being condescending. I'm just like, are you painting? Are you drawing?
No, I'm writing.
You are?
Yeah.
For who?
For myself. I'm actually writing a book about growing up in my house.
Really?
Yeah, people have been asking me for years, so I'm finally.
And all I got was a fucking nose whistle and a trip to the grocery store. And your writing book, I got Captain Beefheart nose whistle, which I loved. Mm-hmm. That was a very good story. Mm-hmm. And the fucking pervert story from the store.
Well, I don't want to blow it all because, maybe you can have me back on when the book is done.
Well, I'm trying to be encouraging.
Oh, great. Thank you.
I'm trying to be encouraging.
Great, thank you.
And I got, we now know your dad was very funny, didn't talk much, and you had very little contact with him. He was in his studio with large groups of men doing different things.
Yeah.
He was like I don't know, do people really characterize him? Like, I know he used a lot of artists and everything, but it definitely seemed like there was a situation with a lot of men playing things in that studio. Like, I imagine at all times there were just dudes eating, smoking cigarettes in your kitchen, coffee, and people tuning things. People practicing singing things.
Mostly, when he was at home, he was working by himself. So there was an intercom system throughout the house, and so you just hear him editing over and over. So you hear the tape, and then you hear it played forward, and then because he was editing.
Yeah. He played that throughout the house?
The music was all throughout the house. And then we had a dumbwaiter, so we'd put food on a bamboo tray and send it down. Cayenne pepper was his favorite thing to add to absolutely everything. Not pancakes, but everything else.
Most things.
And then he would rent a rehearsal space. And then so I have countless stories about I broke my finger once at school, and they called my mom to come and get me, and she didn't come for hours and hours. My finger was ballooning, and then when they finally picked me up in the family Rolls Royce, my father was in the front seat. She was there. He was in the passenger seat because he stopped driving in his 20s. Like when his first driver's license expired, he was like, "I'm done with that." And so then my mom drove him everywhere, and so then I remember we went to go get him a red and green burrito or something instead of taking me to the hospital or the doctor.
So this was not the greatest situation, but you seem to have some love still.
Oh, I definitely have love. I have to laugh. I mean, it's. I guess they were making decisions about what's more important: the music for the people, or my kid's finger that can be set at some point and heal at some. It's going to heal.
So usually when the music was going on at home, it was just him.
I was stoked when he got cancer. I'm like, finally, he's going to be home. Finally, now we're gonna have some FaceTime. It's going to be awesome.
Did you?
I moved home. I moved home to be with him, and then want to hear what he was interested in doing?
What?
Finishing all the work he had in his head. So I was like, oh, wow, okay, so even the big thing doesn't make the...
So when he knew he was dying, he was like, I got to get this stuff out?
He didn't suddenly think, oh, you know what, let me pick up on some of the parenting stuff I've missed out on.
Let me get to know my kids.
Actually, Diva might say it differently because they spent some quality time watching The Simpsons together.
Oh,
and he would make me like VHS tapes of things he was watching on the news. Like he would just do like little edits of just things that interested him. Just he'd make these tapes.
That was his way of communicating?
Yeah, he'd send me some VHS tapes. Yeah, or one time,
engage you in conversation about them, or just share them?
Well, one time, he called me into a room to watch a porn with him, and it was Fatliners, and Flatliners had just come out recently, and so whatever year that was, 90, whatever, however old I was.
Older than that. Flatliners with all those
late 80s.
Yeah, probably.
So I was
Well, I could probably just look it up.
I was still a teenager.
Yeah. So he brings you in to watch Flatliners, which is
and that sounds terrible to watch a porn with your dad. Except he was truly showing me this anthropological horror show of this fetish where people just
1990
fuck the folds of incredibly obese people. So it was like he was crying with laughter. He just thought it was the funniest. Most hilarious, look at these people doing this.
And how old were you in 1990?
I was a teenager. So if I was born in 67, 1990, what is that?
No, you're 23.
Oh, okay, so
So it's okay.
But my
You're out of it's okay to watch a porn with your daughter.
But it didn't make a difference.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have cared about that. It was still like, hilarious to him. Because it's never comfortable. I don't care what age you are. Nobody wants to sit with their dad and watch a porno.
No, you can't. There's cocks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not right.
Yeah.
In any way, even for comedic purposes.
That's right. Even if you were in your 60s and your dad was like, hey, let me show you this thing.
Yeah.
I still think it'd be wrong.
Well, usually as long as it's not his thing, there's a little distance.
No, I know. But the point is, it was, I had to process it as it was happening. Like, this is, even though I know this from the outside.
He's just laughing.
Laughing hysterically. He's like, look at these savages.
Are you the oldest one?
Yeah.
But like somehow or another, like your dad's scene, didn't quite tie in with the rest of all the Laurel Canyon cocaine hippie business because he wasn't.
He never did any drugs. Yeah.
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 He was just the sort of wizard on the hill.
Yeah.
And he just completely created his own universe.
Mm-hmm.
Do you even know how many records he has out?
50 plus? I don't even know. No.
And
my mom's still releasing them, so there's still stuff in the vault.
Does she still?
Yeah.
And what? It's a very specific audience. Do they still like? Is it?
It's 8 people, and they are fervent.
But it's more than 8. But are they loyal? Are there still a lot out there? Do people still come to Zappa? I mean,
Dweezil tours playing his music,
right.
So he's able to pay a mortgage. So
right.
I think there is
because it seems like he had it in his mind. Your dad had it in his mind that like I'm going to leave this stuff and it's going to transcend time somehow.
I don't think he was thinking about that.
No,
no. I don't think he had.
He was just compulsive and needed to keep creating.
I really felt like he just answered the calling. He just kept creating, and so I mean that it's weird living opposite somebody who's just like, nope, just going to answer the calling, just going to keep answering just what's in me that wants to be said and done.
Right. So. It's a great thing. It's a rare thing.
Yeah. Well, it's not great for raising children.
No, I know.
But yes, for artistry, it's outstanding.
The weird thing about that particular problem in terms of how we're parented, that I think there's some concession in the minds of others and perhaps even in us for a while. It's sort of like, well, I got what I needed. I always had clothes. I wore shoes.
Mm-hmm.
We lived well. Mm-hmm. I was never in want of anything. I had a pretty good time.
Yet we both share no knowledge of how mortgages work, and so
right.
So
we were spoiled, and
no one taught us how to fish.
Parented.
No one taught us how to fish, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I had to go to camp for that.
Right?
Yeah, it was not my thing. You could probably learn how to fish.
I meant it as a metaphor, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. But you don't think you learned anything from him?
No, of course I did.
Like what?
Humor.
Yeah.
As a tool of survival, as a survival tool.
And just keeping people away in general.
Yes, exactly. Ask a lot of questions, not to bring them closer, but to keep yourself safe, to isolate.
Sure.
Spicy food, of course.
Yeah.
I love spicy food. Lawyers, of course.
The
Zappa tutorial on that, it's pretty widely documented.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because what were his big legal issues?
What? I mean, his whole career was legal issues. Yeah, trying to get stuff back and
right.
Yeah, horrible.
From record labels, or from who?
That's a Gail Zappa question. I'm not even totally clear on it. I just know that there's still outstanding legal issues.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a full-time job, just her going after people.
Does she still have the label? Is Barking Pumpkin still the thing?
I'm not sure if that. I think it is still. I mean, yes, she runs the label,
right?
But I don't know what imprint it is at this point.
Ah.
There's the Utility Muffin Research Kitchen, and I don't know what else.
So where are you at in your writing process with this thing? How far along?
Just putting whatever I can think of on the page and then assembling it later. But honestly, the point of view is the tricky thing, because I want to tell the stories, but I don't want to ruin him for people. So trying to find a balance where I can express stuff but not take him down, which is...
Yeah, I just did that.
Yeah?
My dad's not Frank Zappa. He's just a doctor in New Mexico. But it's dicey.
Yeah,
but mine's still alive and not talking to me. So
really? He's not talking to you?
Yours not going to talk to you anymore, man. You might risk alienating your father for the rest of your life.
So the Ouija board contact, that's going to stop?
That's out.
Oh.
That's out. He's still not, he's not going to be able to give you 1 or 2 word answers on the Ouija board.
No thumps. Okay, well.
Well, I guess that is a concern. But do you really have stories that you think that would do that, other than like he just wasn't attentive?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's some of it is that I feel like it's my mom's story to tell, because she was a grown up interacting with a grown up, and so from a kid's perspective, I don't know. But people always ask, what was it like? And they have these ideas, and maybe their ideas are more interesting, but maybe not.
Well, I think people are fascinated with not just celebrities, but with people that are, sort of known as geniuses and didn't offer much of their personal lives to people while they were alive. So there's always this need, like, no one wants to just assume, like, well, he's just a dad who didn't hang out much because he was smoking and looping.
Yeah, I mean, but at least he was actually, he was, I think I would call him a genius, too.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Who are the Zappa fans now? Do you come in contact with them involuntarily?
I just met somebody at a comedy show I did, and this guy came up to me, and he gave me, I think, his passport and something else, and he told me that he is my brother, and that his mother had slept with my father, and that he was my brother, and that he knew he was my brother because he played a certain song backwards, and it said some information and about like it said a date, which was his birthday.
Uh-huh.
He had a whole elaborate thing, and I smiled politely. I said, okay, well, the person to really ask about this would be my mother, because I have no idea. But maybe
you defer to Gail a lot.
I do. I love it. I just I'll give her the business card.
Is it possible?
Let's do a paternity test. Let's find out. Awesome. Let's do it. I love people. Let's do this. You're gonna have to pay for the paternity test, but let's do this if you want to find out.
Has anyone tried to date you because you're Zappa's daughter?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a horrible experiment. That was
Really?
terrible. Yeah.
Well, how'd that go?
Because I disappointed him. He did not want to hear any bad news about my dad.
Oh, so you went out with him?
Yeah, I did.
Did you know?
I did know. But here's the thing. I did the.
How old were you?
I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
But I did the thing of, like, get to know him.
Yeah.
Be friends first.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did the friend thing for a year. But here's what I realized now. It doesn't matter if you sleep with somebody on the first date. You get to know them as a friend. You marry them. People are going to reveal themselves when they reveal themselves. So I just say jump in.
Yeah.
Just find out. That's why I say coupling is like the bravest thing you can do.
Hanging in.
Trying it. Just jumping in.
No, I think that, like, I'm a strong believer, and I think that, you should probably fuck before you talk a lot.
Really? You think fuck first?
Yeah,
before talking?
Just act on the sort of initial juice.
Really?
And just sort of like, oh, God, this is crazy. And then try to rebuild after that. That's it. Then spend the rest of your life rebuilding from that first thing.
Okay. Yeah, well.
I mean, yeah.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Like, do you remember that first time?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we get that back? Remember when we didn't know each other and was never supposed to go this far, and now we're just trying to...
Rebecca Corey has a really funny thing about parents. She doesn't speak to her parents, but she does. She always thinks it's hilarious when people ask their parents for advice, because she says that the parents are two people that were like, you like that shit?
Yeah.
You like that shit? You were not on their mind.
Right.
They were not like, let's pool what you know and what I know, and we build a dream, and then we raise it from the ground up, and when it is struggling, it will come to us, and we will give it this information.
Yeah.
So...
Wow.
It makes me laugh.
It's funny.
You like that shit? So...
You like that shit. So you're doing stand-up too?
Yeah.
Like a lot?
Well, I keep doing Uncabaret, and Beth keeps asking me to be the musical guest.
She's back.
But the
Beth
thing
is back.
but I'm enjoying being the musical guest because I can't find the one. So it's fun to.
What do you mean you can't find the one?
I can't find the one. The downbeat. I can't find it.
So you sing?
I sing. I work with a jazz drummer.
Yeah. Just the two of you?
And then maybe the piano player that's there, I'll say, "What do you got?" And he'll just play some notes. I'll be like, "That sounds good." And then
you just riff?
Well, I'll have some words. Like I recently sang about not being able to qualify for a loan, and I sang about that.
Why weren't you able to qualify for a loan?
Oh, because I don't have an income yet.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know, it's when you're an artist, sometimes you it fluctuates.
Yeah.
Your income.
But then how do you live? Is it the Zappa Trust?
No.
Don't get all insulted. You just said you don't have an income.
No, it's not that. I'm sorry. When you said Zappa Trust, it made me think about family and family support, and then I got triggered, and then I got really upset about that. It's fine. No. Currently, it is through my divorce that I'm able to survive until I can get back on my own 2 feet here.
Okay.
And I'm going to just pass the hat around now. And
and
there's a lemonade stand that I'm going to set up.
Out front?
Yeah, and I'm going to
drive around with it?
At some point, I probably will have to sell my dad's... No, I'm going to sell my dad's, what do you call it? The thing he won the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame award.
Oh,
so,
that'd
the
be
highest
sad.
bidder.
That'd be a sad moment.
Why? Not for me.
No? No. when Moon Zappa shows up at a pawn shop or eBay.
Why?
Why? What do you mean?
A fan would be ecstatic about it.
Oh, that's a good way to spend it. Just take it off your desperation entirely. It's a gift to a loving fan.
What am I supposed to do with it? It's just a weird little trophy. Does it have special symbolism? Is it magic?
How much apple butter do you need?
Well,
you really have to sell your dad's Hall of Fame award to get apple butter?
Yes, I do.
All right, fine.
Yeah, or put my kid through college.
So
but yes.
Do you think you're going to make that much?
I hope. I hope to. Does it not have a value? Do people not love the Rock and Roll Hall of
Why
Fame?
don't you find one of his guitars? Yeah.
Oh, my mother has all those.
I think you got to work this shit out with your mother and get some of that shit if you're going to start selling Zappa shit.
It's trickier than you think.
Hire a lawyer.
Yeah.
But you get along with everybody.
Yeah, but it's a great time to be a pickpocket because everyone's looking down at their phones all the time. So I probably could get some stuff in there when she's on the phone.
Sure, yeah. Just walk out. I'm just going to borrow this for a thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think it's going to come to that.
I don't think so either. Because I go to prostitution first. So
I think maybe we should stick with Zappa Yoga.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. Zappa ho. It's not. Is it feeling you want to be a Zappa ho?
Do you know that Zappa means hoe in Italian?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
It means whore or hoe?
Hoe.
It does?
Yeah, not whore, but hoe.
Zappa, like the gardening tool?
To till the earth, yes, like a gardening tool.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Zappa. It's a hoe.
You're a hoe.
Yeah.
Thanks, Moon.
Thank you.
All right, that's it. That's our show. How great. Huh? Fun. Is she fun? Is she smart? Is she great? I love her. Thank you for listening, you guys. Go to WTFpod.com for all your WTF pod needs. Get the app, upgrade to the premium app for a few bucks, get all the shows. What am I doing? I'm basically around. I'm in LA doing shows here and there. I got no big ones coming up. I'm kind of locked in. We're writing Maron. We got to shoot Maron. So I'm going to be around, but I will be working. I will be doing